China's epidemic continues to spread. Yiwu urges people to stock up on supplies for 10 days, causing panic. Henan Rural Bank plunders large depositors' savings. Rights-defending depositors sequentially disappear. Chinese Banking Regulatory Authority issues intensive penalties. Multiple banks face severe fines. Financial tsunami erupts. Qiang carries the blame and falls into a minefield. Analysis: the Chinese Communist Army has multiple fatal weaknesses and is hesitant to engage in hot battles. It's all covered in today's China Truths. China's epidemic continues to spread. Yiwu urges people to stock up on supplies for 10 days, causing panic. The coronavirus situation in China is critical, marked by the resurgence of nucleic acid testing, health codes, and lockdown measures. On December 1st, Yiwu in Zhejiang province abruptly issued a call to action, encouraging people to maintain a food supply for more than 10 days, emphasizing the importance of family food reserves for peace of mind. The call also mandated active participation in stockpiling from party and government organizations, people's groups, businesses, schools, and citizens throughout the city. It specified that canteens in various departments and units should maintain a 15-day supply of food. This announcement triggered public panic, with many questioning, is another lockdown imminent? Another said that, please don't let it be another lockdown. I've already stocked up enough for the past 3 years. However, the call to action was promptly deleted. Meanwhile, according to disclosed information from residents, numerous families in China are succumbing to illness one after another. A few days ago, 2 individuals died at Changchun 208 Hospital. Weibo also contains information about many infected patients succumbing to the illness. Some netizens expressed, this year, 2 young friends born in 1993 suddenly died after being infected. There are also online users expressing that this current wave of the epidemic is incredibly severe and has claimed the life of my mother. According to NTD-TV, in various parts of China, amid the significant epidemic outbreak is occurring, with the infection rate of white lung reaching 10% in a hospital in Wuhu, Anhui. Children are also experiencing white lung, leading to fatalities. Recently, in many areas, there are reports of an increase in the death toll due to the epidemic. However, authorities are blocking the dissemination of this information. Mr. Chen, engaged in the healthcare industry in Jinzhou, Liaoning, revealed that the number of deaths in hospitals has surged, but the information is being blocked. He added, don't rely on official figures, the number of deaths in hospitals has been increasing significantly, and queues have already started. There will definitely be more corpses in the mortuary this year than the previous year. It's beyond comparison with last year, it was almost full. Last year, we built a new crematorium called a funeral parlor, and we had prepared for it well in advance. Henan Rural Bank plunders large depositors' savings. Rights-defending depositors sequentially disappear. The collapse of Henan Rural Bank occurred over a year and a half ago, yet depositors continue their efforts to defend their rights. Authorities initiated partial reimbursements for small depositors last year but provided no information regarding large depositors. Speculation arose that the Chinese Communist Party, CCP, aimed to reduce the scale of the rights-defending group, leaving plans to default on significant deposits. On December 1st this year, a rights-defending network published an open letter titled Henan Rural Bank Card Depositors, a public appeal regarding our rights-defending struggle and cross-provincial arrests, revealing the dire situation faced by the rights-defending depositors. The letter highlighted that the bank card depositors' savings had been illegally frozen in Henan for over 600 days, rendering them unable to withdraw funds. On November 26, over 100 depositors evaded authorities in Henan, taking a detour through Hubei to Nanyang, Henan to protest. Additionally, some depositors from Anhui and Hubei were arrested by Henan authorities across provinces. According to the letter, depositors participating in the resistance were detained for 7 to 14 days, forced to withdraw registrations, and self-certify involvement in illegal fundraising. Many depositors remain missing to this day. The letter accused Henan of ruthlessly looting depositors' savings, urging the Henan court to label all bank card depositors as participants in illegal fundraising, awaiting recovery and compensation. Simultaneously, Henan authorities persistently pursue and arrest key depositors across provinces, forcing some depositors to leave farewell letters in anticipation of unforeseen circumstances. Currently, rights-defending depositors face an impasse where all avenues for assistance are blocked. National courts are instructed not to accept cases related to Henan Rural Bank, and attempts to travel to Beijing are thwarted. Complaints filed with CCP financial regulatory institutions resulted in the issue being kicked back to Henan. Meanwhile, attempts to defend rights in Henan are met with restrictions on personal freedom. Chinese Banking Regulatory Authority issues intensive penalties, multiple banks face severe fines. On December 1, the China Banking and Insurance Regulatory Commission publicly issued 22 penalty notices, imposing fines exceeding tens of millions of yuan on several banks. Among them, China CITIC Bank received the highest fine, surpassing 200 million yuan, for 56 counts of illegal and irregular activities. The 22 penalty notices disclosed by the China Banking and Insurance Regulatory Commission amounted to a total fine of 325 million yuan, involving institutions such as China CITIC Bank, Agricultural Bank of China, China Construction Bank, Bank of China, Minqing Bank, and Bohai Bank, as well as financial management companies and insurance institutions. Officials of the relevant institutions at the time were also penalized. The violations of these financial institutions were primarily related to loan-related businesses, inadequate internal personnel management, and real estate-related activities. China CITIC Bank, under the China CITIC Group, received the highest fine, totaling 224.75 million yuan, for 56 counts of illegal and irregular activities. China Construction Bank was fined 37.92 million yuan, Bank of China was fined 37.02 million yuan, and Agricultural Bank of China was fined 27.11 million yuan. In reality, China CITIC Bank has been consistently penalized. From 2018 to the present, the bank has received fines exceeding 20 million yuan each year. This year has seen significant personnel changes in the Chinese Communist Party's financial sector. Initially, the China Banking and Insurance Regulatory Commission's original team formed the China Banking and Insurance Regulatory Commission, with Li Yunzi, former deputy governor of Sichuan Province, as the director. The director of the Central Financial and Economic Affairs Commission has been confirmed to be Li Qiang, the premier of the State Council, while Vice Premier He Lifeng previously served as the director of the Central Financial and Economic Affairs Commission and secretary of the Central Financial Work Commission. In recent times, China's economy has been struggling, with real estate crises, trust and asset management institutions facing insolvency, and both the property and stock markets declining. From October 30 to 31, the Chinese Communist Party held its first Central Financial Work Conference in Beijing. The conference emphasized the need to comprehensively strengthen the so-called centralized and unified leadership of the Chinese Communist Party over the financial industry and financial regulation to prevent and resolve financial risks. Wang Yi, a China expert, stated to Epoch Times that Xi Jinping's emphasis on party control of finance to temporarily resolve the political crisis is a regression. With individuals like He Lifeng taking on roles despite lacking expertise in finance, the more the party controls financial matters, the greater the risks become. Financial tsunami erupts, Li Qiang carries the blame and falls into a minefield. In the past decade, the CCP has adopted a model of governing through small groups, where all group leaders are also held by the top leader. These groups then transform into various committees, distancing themselves from the state council system, ultimately becoming directly controlled by Xi Jinping. This marks a shift towards a personal dictatorship, altering the previous collective leadership structure. However, recent events suggest a change in this pattern, as the directorship of the Central Financial and Economic Affairs Commission has been assigned to Premier Li Qiang. With the current financial turmoil in China, reminiscent of historical situations where subordinates took the blame for leaders, will this scenario play out again? Guo Jun, the chief editor of the Epoch Times, expressed on the Elite Forum program that appointing Li Qiang as the head of the Financial Commission at this time is indeed peculiar but not surprising. He recalled the situation in 2020 when the CCP faced the initial outbreak of the pandemic. At that time, the leadership of the Central Leading Group for responding to the epidemic was assigned to Li Keqiang, not Xi Jinping. The reason was the uncertainty in dealing with the crisis, lacking effective drugs or vaccines, and the only solution was to implement city lockdowns, inevitably leading to public dissatisfaction. Li Keqiang was handed the responsibility during the initial phase when everyone was fearful and unsure about how to handle the situation. The intention was to have someone to take the blame at a critical moment. Now, with the imminent financial crisis, triggered by the defaults of Zhongxi Group and Evergrande, Beijing is unable to cope. The Central Financial and Economic Affairs Commission has become a hot potato, and Li Keqiang is the chosen scapegoat. The recent directive from the central government to banks emphasized increasing loans to real estate companies and residents to prevent a collapse in property prices. Historically, real estate loans have been considered high-quality assets for Chinese banks due to continuously rising property values. However, the current scenario sees a widespread decline in real estate across mainland China, especially in major cities, putting immense pressure on bank assets. Approximately 80% of general commercial banks' loans in China are linked to real estate. With millions of unfinished housing units, rising unemployment, and companies struggling to repay loans, a systemic financial crisis is looming. The Chinese government appears helpless, as evident in the recent replacement of key officials in financial regulatory bodies. Amid this crisis, the central government seems inclined to let Premier Li Keqiang bear the blame for the unfolding economic challenges. Political commentator Li Yiping emphasizes the severity of the situation, likening it to a catastrophe. The real estate market's desperation, coupled with local government debts, creates a dire economic outlook. China's economy is rapidly declining, and the debt chain is on the verge of breaking, potentially leading to a massive financial collapse. The CCP system led to massive wealth accumulation for the powerful, while the common people lacked spending power, preventing the development of a mature domestic market. The CCP's approach to crises involves covering them up, releasing liquidity, and printing money. However, with the debt chain about to break, the CCP may no longer postpone the inevitable. Guojun observes that blaming others is typical for the CCP, maintaining the illusion of infallibility. Historical instances include blaming subordinates to solve major problems and strategically placing opponents in no-win situations. The blame game allows the CCP to eliminate political opponents. In this context, Li Keqiang might be the chosen scapegoat, as he's less likely to talk back or defend himself compared to other officials. As China faces a multifaceted crisis, including a financial meltdown and potential social unrest, the CCP's tactics of deflecting blame and maintaining control are in play. The severity of the situation raises concerns about the CCP's ability to navigate and manage the impending challenges. Analysis: the Chinese Communist Army has multiple fatal weaknesses and is hesitant to engage in hot battles. The CCP has been vigorously developing its military power, primarily to use the South China Sea and surrounding areas as a military exercise ground to assert dominance over other countries. Despite claims to the contrary, recent CCP military actions, including reforms, warship construction, and military exercises in the Taiwan Strait, suggest an ambition to invade Taiwan. However, experts assert that the CCP's military might appear more formidable on the surface than it is in reality. While it boasts a 2 million-strong force and a $225 billion annual budget, its military technology lags significantly behind that of the United States and other Western nations. The CCP struggles to recruit high-quality operators for its modern equipment, particularly in specialized fields like artificial intelligence and fighter pilots. The military-industrial complex still depends on foreign components, and U.S. semiconductor embargoes have further hindered its technological development. Shen Mingshi, a researcher and director of Taiwan's Institute of National Defense and Security, highlights the CCP's reliance on two sources for military technology: reverse engineering Soviet-era equipment and imitating American technology. However, the CCP's imitations often fall short due to material limitations, especially in comparison to advanced U.S. engine blades. Shen emphasizes that despite their similar specifications, CCP weapons are actually technologically inferior. Moreover, in various aspects of military comparison with the US, including aircraft carrier technology, high-tech integrated joint operations, and advanced fighter aircraft, the CCP lags behind by 10 to 15 years. Its strength lies in the number of ballistic missiles and warships, but its performance does not match that of the United States. In response to these shortcomings in conventional weaponry, the CCP has shifted its focus to developing killer weapons in fields such as space, drones, artificial intelligence, quantum technology, and cyber warfare. This shift aligns with the CCP's strategic priorities, as senior leaders aim to lead or narrow the gap in these areas. However, the US has imposed export controls on key technologies like high-end chips, further challenging the CCP's ambitions. The CCP's military also suffers from a lack of combat experience and a peace disease due to its long-standing one-child policy, resulting in a force composed mainly of only children with low morale. Health issues, such as obesity and myopia, plague recruits, while psychological problems are increasingly prevalent. Furthermore, foreign military experts believe that the CCP's soldier and non-commissioned officer ranks are the weakest links in its military modernization, hindering overall combat capabilities. The CCP's tradition of promoting officers from within the ranks, often with limited education, creates a gap in technical expertise and military education. While the CCP is now enlisting more college graduates, it remains critical to ensure they are suited to their roles and receive proper training. The CCP's emphasis on political and ideological education consumes a significant portion of training time, overshadowing practical combat training. This political focus may lead to conflicts between military commanders and political commissars in actual operations. A more fundamental problem lies in the CCP's control over the military, as it is essentially an armed force designed to protect the CCP regime rather than the interests of the people or the nation. This lack of distinction has led to widespread corruption within the military-industrial complex. The party's absolute control inhibits lower-level officers' authority, while the 2015 military reform centralized power further in the Central Military Commission. The CCP's ultimate weakness lies in its inability to engage in open, hot wars due to the cost, military limitations, and international opposition it would face. Instead, it prefers gray zone operations such as espionage, infiltration, sabotage, and propaganda warfare. It aims to intimidate opponents in neighboring countries through these means while avoiding all-out conflicts. In summary, the CCP's military development is hindered by technological deficiencies, recruitment challenges, morale issues, political indoctrination, and a focus on regime protection over national defense. These factors shape its military priorities and strategies, making it unlikely to engage in full-scale hot wars but instead rely on unconventional methods to exert influence. Don't forget to leave a comment in the section below to share your opinions on today's topic with us. Make sure to like and subscribe to see more interesting topics from China Truths.